In the days leading up to the 7th, if Libra takes just a moment to truly listen inward, you begin to notice that the unrest does not arrive with noise, but with silence. It shows up when you are sitting still, yet your mind refuses to slow down. When an ordinary evening stretches longer than usual because you do not feel like turning on the lights. When an old question suddenly returns, and this time, it does not leave. On the outside, everything still looks fine. The smile is in the right place. The role is being fulfilled perfectly. But on the inside, the familiar scale Libra relies on has begun to tilt, just slightly, like a breath that falls out of rhythm, something only you can feel. Your intuition spoke early. It did not shout. It did not demand attention. It whispered through sensations that are hard to name. A tiredness with no clear reason. A sadness that comes and goes like a passing wind. A quiet sense that you no longer want to compromise, even as you keep telling yourself that everything will be fine. Libra's logic is very good at keeping order. It knows how to arrange things so no one gets hurt, even when the cost is paid by you. And so, during these days, logic tries to look away. It tries to soothe you, telling you this is just a phase, that you have survived feelings like this before. But there is something different now, and you cannot deny it. This time, the feeling does not fade. It stays. Patient, quiet, like a small light left on in a room after everyone has gone to sleep. You may not look directly at it, but you know it is there. And deep inside, you understand that what is coming is not meant to disrupt your life, but to reveal where your life drifted away from truth and when it began. Libra is used to keeping balance for the world around them. You are the one in the middle, the mediator, the one who steps back so everything can stay calm. But rarely do you stop to ask whether that calm is truly meant for you. These days, that question grows louder, not as an accusation, but as a gentle invitation. An invitation to come back to yourself, to look again at the choices you made only because you did not want to create waves. You may not be ready to face it all at once, and that is okay. No one is asking you for answers right now. The signs of unrest are not a punishment. They are signals of growth. They tell you that you have gone far enough to recognize the limits of endurance, and the moment when silence begins to feel like a burden. And in that exact moment, a very small light appears. The light of honesty. Honesty with your emotions. Honesty with what you no longer wish to carry. If you pay attention, you will notice yourself slowing down. You think longer before saying yes. You listen to your body before pushing yourself forward again. These changes are quiet, but they signal that a door inside you is slowly opening. It is the door to a truth you have postponed for far too long. Not because you were weak, but because you were too kind to the world. And as the inner space begins to shift, you may sense another kind of energy forming. It has not exploded yet. It has not revealed itself fully. But it carries the feeling that something is about to be spoken. Something is about to be placed on the scale with more fairness. Not to hurt anyone, but to return to you the right to live according to your true values. And in that stillness, as you quietly wonder what comes next, there is a deeper breath, a longer pause, as if life itself is gently preparing for the moment when nothing can remain hidden any longer. As those quiet moments linger a little longer, Libra begins to understand something important. Some things in life do not simply appear and then disappear. They build, they settle, they wait. And the truth that is about to surface is the same. It does not fall into your life like a sudden accident. It is not a blow from nowhere. It is the result of countless small moments you chose to walk past. So many times, you told yourself, I will deal with this later. Just this once, I can handle a little more. There were words that reached your lips and then were swallowed back down. Not because you did not know what to say, but because you feared those words might disturb the fragile calm you worked so hard to protect. There were emotions that rose clearly, honestly, asking to be felt. And still, you chose to set them aside. You wrapped them up. You stored them away. as if they mattered less than keeping everything around you moving smoothly. And then there were compromises that lasted so long you can no longer remember when you first began to give in. You only know that at some point, putting others first became a habit, while listening to yourself was postponed indefinitely. None of these things disappeared. They stayed somewhere inside you, stacked one on top of another, silent but heavy. Each time you told yourself you were fine. Each time you smiled to keep the peace. Each time you chose silence instead of honesty. That weight grew a little more. And when you finally begin to feel tired without knowing why, that is when the truth is already close to the surface. The seventh is not the cause. It is only the moment when things can no longer stay buried, like a room sealed shut for too long, until one day, even a gentle breeze is enough to push the door wide open. What feels like a bomb does not carry meaningless destruction. It carries the pressure of words never spoken, of boundaries never set, of needs ignored for far too long. What makes this moment especially tender for Libra is not how big the truth is, but the realization that you have known it for a very long time. You simply did not allow yourself to admit it. You felt it in the way your heart quietly sank, in the loss of interest in things that once brought you joy, in mornings when you woke up and your body felt heavier than usual. This truth does not arrive to punish you. It arrives to remind you that every false balance has its limits. You may wonder why everything is happening now, but if you look deeper, you will see that this is the moment you can no longer survive by enduring the old way. You have grown. You understand your value more clearly, and it is that very growth that causes what no longer fits to begin to shake loose. Truth does not choose the wrong person, and it does not choose the wrong time. It appears when you are strong enough to face it, even if you do not yet feel ready. Deep inside, a part of you understands this. If this bomb never exploded, you would keep repeating the same cycles, giving more than you receive, keeping peace for everyone else, while inside, you grow emptier and emptier. And so, even as fear rises, even as uncertainty spreads, a very small light appears alongside it, the light of release. Standing in front of this truth, your heart may beat faster, your breath may grow shallow, your mind may spin with questions, and yet, deep within you, another part exhales in relief, as if the unspeakable has finally been allowed to exist, as if the invisible weight you have carried for so long is finally being set down. And in that fragile moment, as everything slowly comes into focus, you begin to feel something clearly. This is not an ending. It is a doorway into a deeper truth where you can no longer turn away from yourself. There is a very strange moment when truth steps into the light. Not loud the way people imagine, but so quiet you can hear your own heartbeat change. For Libra, this is the moment you realize you no longer have the strength to pretend. Not because you have become weaker, but because you have come far enough to understand that continuing to look away would cost you the most precious thing you have, your honesty with yourself. That shock can arrive through a sentence that sounds completely ordinary, through a look that no longer hides anything, or simply through the feeling that you cannot lie to yourself anymore. And in that instant, every layer of protection you carefully built begins to crack. Your heart may tremble, your breathing may slow, you pause, as if time itself has created a small space so you can recognize what is truly happening. This is not the moment when circumstances push you into a corner. This is the moment you realize you are standing in front of a very clear choice. Either you face the truth that is right in front of you, or you turn away and continue down the old path, the one that has been exhausting you for a long time now. What makes this moment impossible to escape is the deep knowing that if you keep running, you will not only lose a relationship or a false sense of balance, you will lose your respect for yourself. Libra is used to weighing every side. You understand others. You step into their perspective. You are always trying to soften conflict. But this time, truth does not give you more time to analyze or explain. It stands there, clear, bare, and waits for you to step forward. You may feel afraid because facing truth means admitting that there are things you have known for a long time but did not want to accept. Admitting that certain boundaries were blurred. Admitting that you stayed silent too many times, not because you had no voice, but because you were afraid of losing a fragile piece. And yet, inside that trembling, a very different kind of strength begins to rise. Not loud, not proud, but steady, like a new foundation forming inside you. You begin to understand that facing truth is not an act of cruelty, but an act of healing. Healing the part of you that learned to sacrifice too easily. Healing the heart that carried more than it ever needed to. And when you allow yourself to name the truth honestly, you also allow yourself to live more truthfully with what you need and what you deserve. This moment does not ask you to act immediately. It only asks you to stop and be honest. Honest with your emotions, even if they are tangled. Honest with your desires, even if they make others uncomfortable. In that honesty, you may feel a slight sense of relief, as if a layer of fog has been lifted, allowing light to begin filtering in. Not a harsh light, but a gentle one, just enough to help you see the road ahead more clearly. And as you stand there between trembling and this new clarity, you may realize something quietly powerful. This is not a moment of loss. It is a moment of return, a return to yourself, to the values you once set aside without meaning to. No longer needing to pretend you are strong, no longer needing to endure in silence. Everything begins to slow down, as if life itself is gently guiding you into a deeper layer of meaning, a place where truth is no longer a threat, but a guide, opening a new space where you learn to stand more grounded, more luminous, and more fair to yourself. When truth touches you, the first reaction is deeply human. It may feel like sudden shock, as if you missed a familiar step on the stairs. It may feel like disappointment when you realize what you trusted was not as solid as you believed. Or it may arrive as a wave of anger, not directed outward, but turned inward, because you understand you have felt this for a very long time. For Libra, these emotions are not easy to show. You tend to let them pass quietly, doing your best to remain composed. Yet inside, very real movements are taking place. And right now, there is something important you need to remember. This truth did not come to destroy you. If you look more deeply, you will see that it carries no intention of knocking you down. It comes to end a kind of balance that was no longer honest. A balance maintained through constant compromise, through moments when you told yourself, "This is fine, I can live with this." You kept the scale from tipping by placing more weight on yourself. And over time, that weight left you tired without ever knowing why. The truth appears to say that this way of balancing has reached its limit. What must fall away is not what truly belongs to you. It is the roles you took on, only to keep others comfortable. It is the promises you kept, even when they no longer matched who you are now. It is the connections that survived out of habit rather than mutual nourishment. When these things fall away, the first feeling may resemble loss. But if you allow yourself time to breathe with that feeling, you will begin to see how valuable the space that opens up truly is. In this moment, Libra is being invited to reconsider the true meaning of fairness. Fairness does not mean everyone is satisfied. It means no one is abandoned, including you. Fairness is not forcing everything to stay the same at any cost. It is allowing what no longer fits to leave with dignity. Truth does not ask you to resent the past or deny what you have given. It simply rests a gentle hand on your shoulder and tells you that you no longer have to carry more. There is a quiet beauty in the moment you accept this. No immediate grand decisions are required. No powerful declarations are needed. Only a very honest acknowledgement that you deserve a life not built on silent endurance. When you allow what is no longer true to fall away, you also allow yourself to stand more upright on your own scale. And even if there is an initial emptiness, that emptiness is not meaningless. It is where light is able to enter. This light is not harsh. It is gentle, warm, and arrives naturally. It helps you see what truly belongs to you and what you have been carrying for others for far too long. It helps you feel your body again, your breath, your simplest desires that were once forgotten. And as clarity slowly unfolds, you may begin to feel a new sense of relief, as if life no longer needs to be held in balance through constant tension. Standing in this newly cleared space, you may be surprised to realize that you are not weaker at all. Instead, a new steadiness is forming. The steadiness of someone who knows their worth and no longer needs to prove it through excessive sacrifice. Truth has already done the hardest part of its work. It has removed what no longer belongs. What remains is a new foundation where you can begin to listen to yourself more deeply, more slowly, and prepare for choices made from greater self-respect. As if a different rhythm of life is quietly opening just beneath this layer of stillness. There is a very delicate point along this journey where Libra feels most deeply tested, not by what is happening outside, but by the choice quietly forming within. After truth has been faced, after what no longer fits has begun to fall away, you find yourself standing at a silent crossroads. No alarms, no pressure, just you, and a familiar question that now echoes deeper than ever before. Will you continue to endure as you always have, or will you allow yourself to change? Libra has long been comfortable in the role of peacemaker. You are the one in the middle, the one who softens, the one willing to step back so everything can remain calm. For many years, you believed your silence was a gift to the world, that holding back difficult words made life easier for everyone else. And in many ways, you succeeded. You kept relationships from breaking. You prevented situations from exploding. You kept spaces from becoming tense. But what you rarely stopped to look at was the price you were paying. That cost did not arrive all at once. It gathered slowly. It showed up every time you nodded while something inside you disagreed. Every time you told yourself, I can handle a little more. Every time you felt exhausted but could not explain why, because on the surface, everything still looked fine. Libra's silence is refined, polite, often praised, but over time, that silence begins to take small pieces of you with it. And this is where the true challenge waits. Not in whether you can confront others, but in whether you can remain honest without continuing to betray your own emotions. Change does not have to arrive as a dramatic action. Sometimes, change begins simply when you stop automatically staying silent about what hurts you, when you allow yourself to feel discomfort without rushing, to erase it just to keep the peace. The hardest part for Libra is not speaking. It is accepting that if you do not speak, you slowly disappear from your own life. You may still show up. You may still be reliable. You may still be seen as easy to be around. But something essential inside you fades a little more each time. And deep down, you already know this. You have felt it in moments when you no longer recognize yourself in the mirror of your own emotions. In moments when you wonder why you give so much, yet still feel empty. This challenge does not come to make you hard or confrontational. It comes to ask a very human question. Can you keep your kindness without sacrificing yourself? Can you learn to create harmony, not through silent endurance, but through clear and honest boundaries? This lesson is not easy. It asks you to change a habit that has been woven into your identity for a very long time. In this moment, you may feel afraid. Afraid that if you speak up, things will change in ways you cannot control. Afraid that if you stop yielding, you will be misunderstood. And yet, at the same time, a very small voice inside you whispers that this truth deserves protection. That you deserve to live in a space where balance is not built on your silent sacrifice. And when you allow yourself to stay with that feeling just a little longer without rushing back to old patterns, you begin to see something clearly. This challenge is not here to take away your gentleness. It is refining it, so that your softness no longer drains you, but supports you, as if a new current is forming, gentle yet steady, carrying you deeper into a different way of living. A place where change is no longer something to fear, but a doorway into a fuller, truer version of yourself. There is something very important that Libra begins to realize as the noise outside slowly settles. Real change does not begin with grand actions. It does not require bold declarations or rushed decisions. The seventh does not arrive to force you into immediate action. It comes to invite you inward, back to the place where every choice was first formed, where old habits quietly guided your life for a very long time. And it is there that a deep shift begins. Libra has always been sensitive to the world around you. You read the atmosphere, you sense what is left unsaid, and because of that, you often choose what feels safest for everyone. But now, there is a very real tiredness showing you that those choices no longer nourish you. The profound change life is offering is not about changing who you are. It is about changing how you protect yourself. Resetting boundaries does not make you cold. It simply means you begin to respect the limits of your own heart, the same way you have always respected the feelings of others. At first, setting new boundaries may feel unfamiliar. You have grown used to saying yes before truly listening to yourself. You have grown used to adjusting to fit the situation. But in this new space, you begin to notice something important. Each time you choose differently, even in the smallest way, a new source of energy is preserved for you. You no longer feel depleted so quickly. You no longer wonder why you are exhausted even when you have not done much. This change happens quietly, like an underground current flowing beneath the surface, but its strength is real. Changing the way you choose is not a betrayal of your past. It is the natural continuation of who you have become. You learned many lessons through compromise, through putting others first. Now, you carry those lessons forward as you choose differently, choosing what does not require you to erase yourself. Along the way, you may feel a trace of fear, because inner change always asks you to release what feels familiar, and yet, at the same time, a new sense of peace begins to form. The peace of no longer being in conflict with yourself. Stopping the habit of yielding to what drains you is not selfish. It is an act of responsibility toward your own life. When you preserve your energy, you do not become closed off. You become more authentic. You give from fullness, not from depletion. And this does not only heal you, it creates a healthier standard for the relationships around you. You teach others how to treat you by the way you treat yourself. This transformation is quiet, so at times you may wonder whether it is really happening at all. But if you pay attention, you will see the signs. You begin to say no more easily. You pause before agreeing. You choose spaces where breathing feels easier. These small signs are proof that an irreversible process has already begun. You are no longer returning to who you once were, not because you reject that version, but because you have grown beyond it. And as you stand more firmly within this inner space, a very new feeling emerges. The feeling that life no longer demands you maintain balance through tension, that there is another way to live, where fairness begins with not hurting yourself. In that stillness, as you continue forward with new boundaries and more honest choices, another door slowly opens, leading you toward a deeper balance, where what is coming next no longer feels frightening, but is met with a quiet, clear readiness. When the strongest movements have passed, when emotions no longer rise in waves the way they once did, Libra enters a very different kind of quiet. Not the quiet of avoidance, but the quiet of understanding. Like a lake after a heavy rain, the surface may still ripple, but the sky is suddenly more visible. You begin to feel lighter in a way that feels unfamiliar. Not because everything is perfect, but because certain familiar weights are no longer resting on your shoulders. At first, that lightness can feel confusing. You were used to maintaining balance through constant effort, through reading other people's emotions, through adjusting yourself so no one felt uncomfortable. When that pattern begins to loosen, your body and your mind need time to recalibrate. There may be moments when you wonder if you are becoming distant, but very quickly, you recognize the difference. You are not distant. You are simply standing more accurately in your own place. In this new space, Libra begins to understand balance on a much deeper level. True balance is not a state where everyone is satisfied. That was an illusion you worked hard to maintain for too long. Real balance is when you no longer betray your core values just to keep the surface calm. It is when you can say yes without feeling smaller, when you can say no without carrying lingering guilt. a very quiet kind of maturity is taking place. You begin choosing conversations that offer respect, not just harmony. You choose relationships where giving and receiving are not uneven. And most importantly, you choose to listen to how you feel before listening to the fear of losing approval. These choices do not make you rigid. On the contrary, they give your gentleness roots. After the shock has passed, you look back at what fell away with different eyes. No bitterness, no blame, only the understanding that everything served its purpose in your life. Some connections taught you how to love, some situations taught you how to endure. And now, as you no longer need those lessons in the same way, they quietly step aside, making room for a new structure of balance. This structure is not perfect, but it is real. It allows you to be tired when you are tired, to rest when rest is needed. It does not demand that you are always okay, always kind, always understanding. It allows you to be human, with real emotions and real limits. And in that permission, you feel a new kind of safety. Not the safety that comes from controlling everything around you, but the safety that comes from no longer abandoning yourself. There may be moments when you miss the old feeling, the familiar role of being the one who balanced everything for everyone. But very quickly, you realize you do not want to return there, not because you have become different, but because you have become more honest. And that honesty carries a quiet, deep beauty, one that helps you stand more firmly even on the most ordinary days. And as you continue walking in this state of true balance, you begin to notice something subtle. Life no longer challenges you through constant collisions. Instead, it starts to whisper, to guide, to open paths that better match who you are becoming. In that lightness, even before you can name every change, you can already feel a new steadiness inside. And with it, a very clear sense that this journey is not over. It is simply bringing you closer to a deeper layer of meaning, where you not only find balance, but also learn how to allow yourself to receive the good things waiting ahead. When you look back on the entire journey you have just walked through, you may notice something very different from the fear you felt at the beginning. The seventh does not carry the weight of a sentence. It does not arrive to punish you, and it does not come to take away what you hold dear. It arrives like a door opening at the right moment, when you are mature enough to step through without losing yourself. That unavoidable truth, when seen through softer eyes, is not a threat at all. It is a confirmation that you are ready to live more honestly as who you truly are. Libra has traveled a long road with sensitivity, with the ability to feel, to balance, to harmonize. You learned how to hold equilibrium for many people in many situations. And now, life gently reminds you that this balance must finally include you, not by removing your kindness, but by placing it back where it belongs. When you dare to change, even if it is only the way you listen to yourself, a new sequence of movement begins to form around you. At first, you may not see immediate results. Everything may feel paused, as if the universe itself is rearranging its pieces. But with patience, you begin to sense the subtle shift. Meetings feel more genuine. Opportunities appear with better timing. Relationships no longer require you to strain yourself just to keep them alive. Not because the world suddenly changed, but because you changed how you show up within it. The final message does not ask you to become stronger than you already are. It simply invites you to trust. To trust that choosing honesty is not a reckless act, but an act of respect for your own life. To trust that when you stop shrinking yourself to fit a situation, situations that truly fit you begin to find their way in. To trust that the quiet change you have begun will continue to ripple outward, even on days when you're not trying to do anything more. There is a very distinct beauty in Libra when you stand firmly within your core values. It is the beauty of fairness that begins from the inside, of gentleness that no longer drains you, of choices made from deep understanding rather than fear. And when you allow yourself to walk with that beauty, life seems to respond with a matching softness. Not every road becomes smooth, but they grow clearer, less conflicted, more aligned with your natural rhythm. If there is one thing to carry forward from all of this, let it be permission. Permission to change, Permission to no longer remain an old version of yourself just to keep others comfortable. Permission to trust that what is left has completed its purpose and that what is coming will better suit who you are becoming. No rush, no proving. Just continuing forward with the honesty you have chosen. And in that very quiet moment, as you take a deep breath and feel the ground steady beneath your feet, you may find yourself smiling. Not because everything is finished, but because you know you are exactly where you need to be. The seventh has completed its task. What remains is a new journey, one where you're no longer blindsided by truth, but accompanied by it, like a guiding light, quiet, steady, leading you forward with the peace you truly deserve.